Imagine you're in a small wooden boat on a freezing river. It's the middle of the night and snow is falling. The wind is blowing hard and the icy water splashes into the boat. You can't see much, but you can hear the sound of oars cutting through the water. You look to your left and see a tall man standing at the front of another boat. He's wearing a heavy cloak, and his face is calm but serious. That man is General George Washington. You're crossing the Delaware River with him on one of the most daring missions of the American Revolution. The year is 1776, and things are not going well for the American Army. Just months ago, on July 4th, the colonies had declared independence from Britain. But now, after many battles, the Americans had lost most of them. Washington's army was tired, cold, and running out of hope. Many soldiers didn't have proper shoes or coats. Some were sick. Others were ready to give up and go home. The British had taken over New York and had chased Washington's army across New Jersey. By December, Washington and his men were camped on the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River. Across the river, in Trenton, New Jersey, were German soldiers called Hessians. They were hired by the British and were guarding the town. Washington knew he had to do something big to keep the fight going. If he didn't, the war might be lost. He came up with a bold plan. He would cross the icy Delaware River on Christmas night, surprise the Hessians the next morning, and win a battle. The plan was risky. The weather was terrible and the river was full of chunks of ice. But Washington believed it was the only chance to turn the war around. He gathered about 2,400 men. They would use boats called Durham boats, which were strong enough to carry soldiers, horses, and cannons. On the night of December 25th, 1776, the men got ready. It was cold, dark, and snowing. The soldiers wrapped blankets around themselves. Some walked barefoot through the snow. As the boats pushed off into the river, they had to fight strong currents and freezing winds. Some of the boats got stuck, but the men kept going. Washington was in one of the first boats to cross. He stayed calm and encouraged his men. Everyone knew this was important. They were quiet, trying not to alert the enemy on the other side. It took hours to get across. By the time all the soldiers had crossed, it was almost dawn. They still had to march 9 miles in the snow to reach Trenton. The men were tired, but they kept walking. Around 8 o'clock in the morning, the American army reached Trenton. The Hessian soldiers were surprised. They had been celebrating Christmas the night before and were not expecting an attack. Many of them were still asleep. The Americans moved quickly. They blocked the roads and surrounded the town. After only about an hour of fighting, the Hessians surrendered. Washington and his army had won. It was a small battle, but it meant a lot. The Americans captured almost 1,000 enemy soldiers. Only a few American soldiers were killed or hurt. The victory gave new hope to Washington's army and to people all over the colonies. Before the crossing, many people thought the war might be lost. After the victory at Trenton, they believed again. More men joined the army. Washington's bold move had changed everything. A few days later, Washington crossed the Delaware River again and won another battle at Princeton. These victories helped keep the American Revolution alive. Today, the story of Washington crossing the Delaware is one of the most famous moments in American history. There's even a famous painting of it, showing Washington standing in the boat with ice all around. While the painting doesn't show everything exactly right, it helps people remember the courage and strength of that night. Washington's bravery and the courage of his soldiers teach us that even when things look bad, we can still fight for what we believe in. They didn't give up, even in the freezing cold, even when the enemy was stronger. That night on the Delaware River, ordinary people did something extraordinary, and because of that, the dream of a free country stayed alive.